What's up, guys? So just full disclaimer, this video is not a step-by-step tutorial video on how to get the Brentune onto your S1000 RR. These are just the general steps, but not in detail. So it's basically just that, and then kind of what it takes to put the Brentune on your bike, and also my first reactions after riding the bike with the Brentune, which is quite incredible. Other than that, thanks to Bo over at Eurocycles for helping me get this whole thing taken care of. And yeah, I'm pretty excited about this. I finally pulled the trigger and I ordered the Brentune. Now there's a handful of things that I have to do before I can actually put the tune on the bike. I still need to open up the box and kind of go through the instructions and all that stuff, but I figured I'd take you guys along for the ride. And just to be clear, I did a stage 1 tune for this bike. I did not go with the stage 2. Designed for competition use only, not to be used on a public highway. Okay. All right, so right here we have the box that BrenTuning sends. Nice little sticker here as well. Go ahead and cut this unnecessary label. And this is what you're gonna get. This is the little handheld. So we've got some instructions, some cables. And one thing to keep in mind with the Brentune is you have to use a PC. You cannot use your Mac or iMac or anything like that. No MacBook Pros, which is tough for me because I use Mac for everything. But I do have a desktop laying around that's got Windows on it, so I'm going to have to pull that thing out. That way I can plug this thing up, get everything updated, and go from there. The card that they send with everything has kind of a step-by-step on how to do everything. It looks like I need to go to a website, download the client for the module itself, so I'm going to do that real quick and I'll be back in a second. Alright, now we've got this updated according to their instructions. Now we've got to open up the bike, which this one happens to be in the tail section right there. Then you've got this connection right here that we're just going to plug into this little slot right here. And then once that's plugged in, you're going to see the flasher power up. Go through a couple settings, work, BMW, find your bike. So there's a whole different, there's a whole list of different bikes for the BMW. Obviously we're doing the S1000 RR. Then you're going to pick your year, which this is the 21. And that's going to give you some warnings, switch on the dashboard. So really it's just going to tell you what you need to do inside this. So it's communicating. Switch off the dashboard. Okay. Okay, switch the dashboard back on. Now it's identifying the ECU. Now we're going to switch it back off. Identity flash, okay. Okay, switch the dashboard back on. So right now all the bike is doing, or all the tuner is doing, is learning the bike as it is. It's creating that file so we can send that back to Brentune, and then they can send me their updated flash. Right now it's saying task complete, okay. And it looks like we're good to go. We're gonna unplug this and go back to the computer. Alright, so it's the next day. We got the email back from BrenTuning. They gave me the file for my particular bike. I'm not going to go through the whole process of the emailing and all that stuff because they actually provide a great video, step-by-step instructions for all of that stuff. I'm going to leave a link below for that in case you're wondering. So we went and downloaded our new file to the flasher, and we're going to go back to where we pulled our original file from, right in here. And we're going to plug this device back into there and download the new file. Alright, and then just like before, it's going to tell you what to do right on the screen here. It's going to have you turn the bike on, or at least turn the dash on and off a couple times. And before I started this process, I actually took the bike for a ride for about 15 minutes or so, just to make sure that the battery's topped off, fully charged, because apparently this could take up to 20 minutes for this file to upload into the bike, and you're not running the bike but you have the dash on, so you're running all the electronics and everything, and you don't want a dead battery while you're doing this, otherwise you could brick your computer and you don't want that. And then one thing they did say is that your dash is going to go a little wild. So as you can see there, we've got no communication with the engine control, which is very, very worrisome if you don't know that it's coming, so just be ready for that to pop up on your dash. And as you can see, it's doing the programming right now, so we're just gonna hang tight. Alright, so the tune is officially uploaded into the bike, and we're gonna go for a ride. It actually only took 10 minutes to do. I know that I said that it could take up to 20. At least that's what they were saying online, but it actually only took 10 minutes. So anyway, I'm gonna strap on the GoPro and we're gonna go for the first ride. Alright, so this is the official first ride with the Brentune installed on the bike. Again, it only took 10 minutes to do it once I got the actual file from Brentune, and they actually had it to me within 24 hours. I sent it in on a Sunday, and they had it to me at about, I don't know, 5 o'clock on Monday. So big shout out to you guys over there for getting it back to me so quick. So right now I'm running it in dynamic mode, which is the mode that I typically ride in. At least I have up until this point. It seems like a good mixture of everything for the type of riding that I do, and it allows for all the Bluetooth connectivity still. So yeah, that's just kind of where I'm at. So I figured I'd do my first ride in dynamic. That way I have a good comparison about at least a feel for what it was from what it was before. The first thing that I noticed when I started the bike after doing the tune was the idle. Typically the idle is super high, and at least for a couple seconds, and then it'll drop down. This one, the idle is basically right where you'd want it to be, right from the get-go. So I noticed that right away. One thing that I did, I should have did a video on this before I did the tune just to show you guys. But one of the tests that I did was, you know, a third gear pull from about 4,000 RPMs. And I guess the best way to explain it is that from the factory, the computer will kind of regulate your acceleration no matter how much throttle you got. So I would do like a third gear pull, full throttle, and the bike would almost just sort of kind of creep up, but not like you would expect it to. It just kind of do its own little thing, take its time to get there. And then once it hit, you know, anywhere between 6,000 and 8,000 RPMs, then it was like a slingshot, it was like a rocket. So anyway, I'm going to do that same thing here with once I get a spot of the road where I can actually do it safely. I'm going to do a third gear pull at around 4,000 RPMs and just see how it feels. The other thing to note about this tune, at least kind of like a first thing I picked up on, is just cruising through traffic. You know, cruising around in fourth gear, just kind of at a steady speed. Typically, at least before, for me, I don't know if it was for everybody, but I would always get this little surging almost. Even if you have the cruise control on, you'd almost feel this little surge. I don't know exactly why, but that little surge was kind of annoying. And just that little cruise to where I'm at right now, I'm not feeling that surge at all, which is kind of nice. Everything just feels a lot smoother. It feels like, one thing I always loved about this bike is just how refined everything was, and this tune was needed to refine it to its best level possible. Are we gonna race? Is that what you want to do? Oh, we gotta go to CVS. Got a tummy ache. So I guess we're just gonna do a full-on pull. We got this nice little bridge right here. Let's see. So we just did kind of like a 0 to 60 times 2, just to kind of get a feel for it. Again, this is in dynamic mode, and the throttle on the bottom end, it just pulls. It pulls from the get-go rather than the computer kind of hesitating and only giving you like partial throttle. It's now giving me all the throttle that I want. And again, I'm in dynamic mode. This is what I typically run. I will play around in the race pro modes eventually, but we're not gonna do that today probably. Okay, I lied. I put in race pro mode 1. We're at about 6,000. I should have done this a long time ago. The front wheel, so I'm in race pro
1 right now, DTC set at 3, and just that second gear pull, and I wasn't even full throttle, not gonna lie, I was not full throttle, and the front wheel, you could just feel the front wheel just hovering. I don't know, you probably can't tell any of that from this video, but you're just gonna have to take my word for it. For the next run here, I'm gonna go back to my dynamic mode, only because that was kind of the point of this test, is so that I could see exactly, at least so I could feel a little bit of a difference between what I'm used to and the way it is now. Again, we're gonna do that third gear pull at about 4,000 RPMs, just to kind of get a feel for what that feels like, you know. I know it's a very low RPM range and it's in third gear, but I don't care. I mean, that's the low end. I want the power there. And Jesus, another red light. I just want to do this one little pull. I don't even want to break the law, you know. See, these people are passing me. All right, so we're 4 grand. Wow. So yes, it has all the pulling power. Though again, in dynamic mode, third gear pull from 4,000 RPMs, and the front wheel is getting light and just kind of doing its hover thing. I wish I would have done this the day I bought this bike. This is almost like getting a new bike. This is like getting a brand new bike. If you have the BMW, if you have the S1000 RR, if you got the 2020, 2021, 22, if you got the BMW S1000 RR, you need to get the Brentune. It took me a long time to get sold on this thing. I put almost like 7,000 miles, yeah, 7,000 miles on this bike, and I have not Brentuned it until today. And it's interesting because a lot of people have been telling me, oh, you gotta Brentune it, you gotta Brentune it. I got a lot of friends that have got these bikes and they've got the Brentune, they're like, you have to do it, you have to do it. And I was like, nah, I don't need it. Well, you do, you do. I'm glad that I did.
Alright, so we just did the first ride with the Brentune, and I have to say that it's very impressive. I'm going to do some future videos on this thing. We're going to throw it on the dyno, we're going to see what kind of power it's actually pushing, and that's going to be coming in a later time. But for now, I'm just happy that I got the Brentune in the bike. The thing's amazing. I feel much better about the bike now. It's just like a brand new bike. It's crazy. Until next time.